you. I don't have eyes, apparently.
It's all good.
That is a weird hit. That's a weirder hit. The Stallions are trying to make passing plays here, which are kind of working, but you want those specifically to end up in goals and not being intercepted or easily read.
You do see a little bit of promising play, though. They can at least get the ball to each other without giving it up once or twice. They have the talent, obviously. I mean, you're right. They're the same team that went, that has 10 wins.
Yeah. Not just every team has 10 wins. In fact, right now in the A-League, I do believe only 4 teams have 10 wins or more. Mm-hmm. And so it's not something to be ashamed of course, but they're in a slump, and right now they're going to be down 2-0, and they need to get a new strategy. They need to gain some momentum. They need to make the other team uncomfortable. They need to score.
They do. I mean, that just does wonders for your confidence. When you're down 6-0, the goal just looks tiny. It looks like nothing can go right. Whereas for the Cougars, the goal looks about the size of the back wall right now. They just are not missing.
I don't know if they're not missing, because even when they did miss,
even their misses are going in.
Yeah, even the misses are going in. And so what can you do? Like, you're deflated because everything's happening against you, right? It feels like the whole world's against you. And on the other end, when it comes to defense, it seems like everything's going right for them,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It just feels bad in that sense that, oh well, we try our best to do, but whatever we do, we always mess up. Speaking of this, though, another game where there was only 1 goal that wasn't assisted, and all 3 players scored 2 goals, and all 3 players had at least 1 assist.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great team balance, I guess you could call it. The Cougars are just involving all 3 of them in all of phases of the game. I mean, they only had to make 1 save, and I don't even think that was a particularly difficult one, if I remember right.
No, not really.
We're giving a lot of credit to Red Dragon, and he deserves it for sure. But Degs and Captain Clutch, they're contributing just as much. I mean, it's just a full team effort on both sides for what's going on right now. But you know what? They start 0-0 in Game 3. Stallions have every chance and all the talent to come back. Be interesting to see if they can switch things up.
I do have to agree. If you like wacky stats, here's a wacky stat. Red Dragon, with the most goals on his team, has the least amount of shots. In fact, he only has 2 shots on 3 goals.
Yes, Red Dragon had a 150% shooting percentage last game.
Yes.
That is some insane efficiency.
It is beyond human possibility efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a reverse sweep just today, says Joseph. Well, the reverse sweep is still possible, but that's
Absolutely.
only if the Stallions come out blazing hot. Fusion's going to have a chance here. Degs is going to put it into the corner. So the Stallions here need to apply all the pressure. They need to score goals first and foremost and play good defense. The Cougars played amazingly defensively. It's not starting off well for the Stallions. It's starting off amazing, right where they left off for the Cougars. Captain Clutch with another one of his good touches. Has he lost to 50 or a touch this match?
I don't know, but he is reading the 50s very well. I mean, Maury Jin, he kind of had the trouble of a bad bounce off the corner, but Captain Clutch read it perfectly. Not an easy angle either, I'd like to say.
No, not at all, and he made it work. And when you're in that groove, you're in that groove, When you got the music pumping and you're in that mindset, you're just in the zone. That's you're unstoppable at that point, especially when you're up against a slumping team. Right now, there's one team that's on full power, on full swing, and the other one's just trying to limp its way home.
Yeah, whatever the Cougars are doing, they need to keep it up. If they keep this up, I mean, I don't know who can beat them. If they close this series out, and it's at least so far they're well on their way. They're going to move to 8-8 with 2 games left, and you'd have to think a 10-8 record would get you into the playoffs.
You would, but 10-8 record is very hard because if the Cougars do win the next 3 games, they will go, I do believe, ahead of the Stallions if they lose all 3 of their games. And on top of that, the Ravens and Pelicans, although they do play each other still, I think they're the ones who won 3-0, so they're 9-7 right now. And so one more win and they're tied with the Stallions. The Stallions can still get kicked out of this playoffs.
Well, that's a great way to get it going. Hey, you know what? It's a 1-goal game with 3.5 minutes left. I think there's definitely going to be another goal or 2 scored. It's a good shot by Sticks, seeing the open net, putting on pretty powerful shot, almost 70 miles an hour. That might be the thing that gets them going.
Very good 110-kilometer-an-hour shot there. Honestly, that's their first goal in 10 minutes about, so honestly, that's just going to revitalize the team just a little bit. And there you go. 1 goal leads to another, and now we're tied. And now the momentum's back on their side. Maybe they're going to gain a little bit more confidence. Every goal is going to help with that confidence there. It's going to shatter the momentum that the Cougars had. And now, with the momentum switched here, they could take game number 3.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Fusion with a great play off of Morrigan's pressure on offense, and they could follow this up. Hey, we know that they have the talent. It's the same guys who've won 10 series so far. Just about putting it together.
It really is, and well, when it comes to, that's a bad touch by Morrigan. He tried to stop Deggs there, but I was just about to say, even if the Cougars score a goal, unless it's really a bean, unless it's really a bean and scoring on yourself, you shouldn't be deflated here, because now you're in arm's reach of winning this game, and you know that if you can score 2 goals, you can score another one, and you can still score 2 more and win this series.
Absolutely, and what we've seen from this series is that even at their best, the Cougars are still making mistakes now and then. They're still leaving a few opportunities open. So if you're the Stallions, you may be down a goal, but you know that you're going to get an opportunity or 2 on net. Can't let that happen, though.
So both the Ravens and Pelicans won. Thank you, Jason, for the info there. So they're both 9-7.
That was a great touch by Captain Clutch, by the way. He had the ball. He saw where the defender was. He just laid it off perfectly for his teammate. That was a really nice play.
Very nice indeed. Now they have another 2-goal lead. It was taken down the last time, but now it's extended to a 3-goal lead. And as I was talking about the Stallions taking back that momentum, the Cougars have come in with 3 goals in a minute. And oof.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Momentum just swinging way back and forth. I still wouldn't count anyone out, but great dribble by Red Dragon there to expand on their lead a little.
All 3 players have scored in all 3 games with that goal.
That's
and
teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work. And honestly, they've shut down Morrigan completely. He's not the Morrigan we saw earlier in the season. He's been completely slumping this game. Back to Fusion with a nice goal here. It's still 2 minutes left. 2 goals to come back. They can do it.
I like the play here, you know? Put it up high, make the defense be in an awkward position, and full credit to Fusion for finding the opening, putting that away. 2 goals in 2 minutes, that's a perfectly reasonable task for the Stallions.
It is a very reasonable task here, as they've proven that they've been able to penetrate the armor of the Cougars here. They're able to bite back, but how deep is that? Are those teeth going to sink in? Because right now, Clutch with another 50 win. Clutch, absolutely clutch with his team right now. And without that 50 win, Deggs doesn't get that goal.
Absolutely. Deggs had missed an open shot about 15-20 seconds ago. He doesn't miss that one. Gets to the ball higher than 6. Puts it away.
And
Solid
back
play.
to a 3-goal differential here. The Cougars are on their way to sweeping the Stallions now. Earlier in the season, it was a different story for the Cougars. They got annihilated by the Stallions here. And they have been a good team, but as I've said, both teams have been slumping since the bye week. And right now, both teams will have the same record at the end of the series if the Stallions don't score at least 3 goals in the next minute and 20 seconds.
Best record since the bye week.
Yeah, the same 2-5 record since the bye week if the Cougars win.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Cougars are looking to be a much happier 2-5 since the bye week than the Stallions will.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they have just every facet of the game. They've just been dominating it. They've let in a few goals, no doubt about it. They haven't played perfect, but pretty darn close to it at times.
When your momentum and your emotions run this high, when you're in that groove, you got that feeling, you feel good, and that continues on into the next game, into the next week. That's a nice save by Stiggs on Degs there. Everyone was coming in. The Cougars are still throwing the kitchen sink here, even though with 30 seconds to go, it's practically their game to lose right now.
Well, you know what? You'd say that would be too aggressive, but the Stallions have not proven that they can actually capitalize on it, so why not?
No, they can, because if you see here, they've been completely beating it. That's 3 misses there, 3 opportunities, and they missed all 3. And I think, yeah, you're right, that will do it. This was an interesting series, but the Stallions just could not hold back the Cougars this time. They ran away the first time with the victory, but this time the Cougars slayed.
Got a little volleyball going in the corner.
Stallions. I mean, why wouldn't you try for that 7th goal? GG's all around, but I don't think the Stallions are happy with that performance. Even though they scored 3 goals, their defense was nowhere to be seen.
No, not really. Their rotations were pretty rough at times. I mean, the Stallions definitely had a couple plays here and there, especially in Game 3, but the Cougars just dominated. Captain Clutch, Degs, and Red Dragon just ran all over them the entire match. And so they go to 8-8. They're in a real chance for a playoff spot. Stallions dropped to 10-6, and you know what? Despite their performance today, I believe their magic number is only 1 to get into the playoffs.
Yes, because both teams have 1. Both the teams ahead of them in the wildcard positions have 1. Now, with this loss, though, the Stallions, if they lose the next 2 games, are in a very dangerous spot. If the Cougars, Ravens, and the Pelicans all win their next games, I know that the Pelicans and Ravens will play against each other again, but if they don't lose, if they goes to a 5-game series, then it's going to be very hard for the Stallions team to actually make it to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And before we go on to the MVP, here's a really weird stat. The Cougars, only 1 save every game of that series.
Oh.
That's as weird stats go, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens when you have the ball the entire time. I mean, the Stallions just weren't really putting much on net. They had a little burst there at the first half of Game 3, but that was about it.
GG's all around. So who was your MVP for this series?
Obviously from the Cougars, I'm having a hard time separating Red Dragon and Captain Clutch. I'm going to go with Red Dragon because I thought he was a little more pivotal in games 1 and 2. I thought Game 3 was a big old team effort. Well, I mean, honestly, all 3 were, but Red Dragon was, it's hard to separate. Red Dragon by a little bit. All 3 of them did great, though.
I have to go with Clutch. He didn't lose a single 50 all game. Every touch he went for, he hit, and he hit them in the position he wanted to hit them, and thanks to that, he scored goals and made great passes, made great saves, and cleared the ball crucially to a teammate. Every time that happened, without his help, they wouldn't dominate as much as they did, or dominate at all, because he was really the thorn in the Stallions' side. He was the one piece that they could not answer.
That is completely fair. Great team effort.
Great team effort all around. All 3 players played amazing. Degs himself, although not the MVP in our eyes, obviously played well, played fairly as well.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't be mad at yourself if you're anyone on the Cougars, but the Stallions, you need to go to the drawing board right now. Something's not right here, and you got to figure out what it is before Thursday when you face up against the next team that they're up against here. Stallions are up against the Leopards. The Leopards are a very lowly team.
Might be an opportunity there.
they're 4-11, but if the Stallions play the way they did against the Cougars, they might lose that game as well. Honestly, they need to pick up that pace. They need to find those pieces, because or else the Leopards, and dare I say, the Gulls might even get the second win of the season if the Stallions play this way.
They might. I mean, it was not an encouraging night from them. You saw flashes of potential, but they just weren't able to put 5 minutes together to actually get a game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming around. Thank you for watching all the games here on the RLPC. I have been Quantum Deathcat, and with me I had Ty. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you on Thursday. We will see you next time.